Greetings everyone and a warm welcome to you all. Namaste. This video is going to be an interactive You Choose selection. So I want you to take a moment now to sit back and decide whether you would like to pick number 1, 2 or 3. And when you've made that decision, you can then look below the video and go to the link for your particular choice, 1, 2 or 3. So right now we are going to be starting with number 1. So if you chose number 1, thank you for joining me. Guys, we are using this deck, which I haven't used very often before in the general readings. It is quite an intense deck of cards by Tony Salarino. It's Angels, Gods and Goddesses. So we'll do a little bit of shuffling here for you and see what particular messages or insights can be coming your way around thoughts or feelings or ideas that you have going on in the background or the foreground right now. So choice number 1, what would the angels, gods and goddesses like to say to you right now? Angel of guidance, Goddess of sacred power, and the God of conflict resolution. The reason I don't use these cards too often is they are quite intense and they have their very own specific energy that goes with them, and they take quite a lot of interpretive connection with them. So if you chose number 1 yourself for this particular reading, it could be that you do have something fairly intense going on that you are either seeking guidance to or wanting some input or understanding, or trying to selectively measure why it's happening or how to deal with it in a situation in your life. So the first card on your left, she's perhaps the most colourful or vibrant there with that kind of red or pinky hue on her face, and she is the Angel of Guidance. She says there, a renewed sense of direction and purpose will soon manifest. So this could be around any subject matter that you have on your mind, whether you are trying to make a decision about something or someone, or trying to figure out which direction to take around finding a solution to something or finding a way forward. So she often will come to you at times when you are, sort of teetering on road A, the high road or the low road, or B or A is an option. So you might it might well pay for you at this point in time to take some contemplative meditation and really focus on asking for guidance from one of your celestial helpers. Now this could be archangels, it could be personal spirit guides, it could be things that come in the way of synchronistic messages that could give you guidance as well. So if it's been a stumbling block for you, or if you've really been undecided or unmotivated enough to make a decision, there could be this renewed sense of activation coming for you. The energy of this card asks you to really connect with your heart space, because often we find the true answers of what we're looking for within our own heart. And it also asks you to be calm and experience the feeling, as I mentioned earlier, of meditation and connection. And when you achieve these particular states, they can often give you more reflection and insight into which direction to take. So it also talks a little bit about engaging with your mind's eye, which is why that golden star is on her third eye chakra. So she's really paying attention to gut instinct, inner connection, psychic awareness and synchronicities. So I think they can all be messages to help you, or if any of you are in this place of indecision or inability to see a future outcome, or not agreeing with the information you currently have as to where it is you want to be. So it's about joining the dots and the lines together to come up with a cohesive answer to take you forward. And then we move into the next one that arrived, which is the goddess of the sacred power. And it says you are being encouraged to take a leading role in your current situation. And I think that matches really well with the angel of guidance. So if you receive more guidance, or you connect with yourself at a higher level or a more spiritual level to find out your inner path or a way of moving through a situation or finding a resolution, you will have more strength in this situation around you. Perhaps some of you feel you've lost a degree of power over a certain direction you're wanting to take or an outcome you're wanting to have happen. Perhaps you feel as though there have been other people who have either been given power or authority or attorney over you or your directions. Have some of you had something like a power of attorney taken away from you? And this could even be in terms of a relationship or the decision about purchasing something such as a house or a car, or something to do with financial aspects, possibly a career. Is there someone else that has been preventing a movement forward or putting up blocks? Is it perhaps because they don't see the situation from the same perspective as yourself, or they're wanting a different outcome? So what you're being told here is to stand up for yourself and to actually take a lead role. You know, oftentimes when we actually do something within a situation, even though we can be sitting on the fence and going, oh, I don't know if I want it or not, or is it the right thing or not, or the right person, or the relationship or idea or health concept, when we just sit there trying to figure it out or balance it out and not actually take action, we can feel even more discombobulated and have less power and efficiency over it. So when we take action, it's amazing the release of sort of energy and movement and excitement and acceleration that can be brought into these situations. So seek inner guidance, seek some psychic awareness around it, seek some answers from the higher self, from celestial helpers. Stand up and take some action. Don't let everyone else be the decision makers for you around some important personal decisions. And the third one, the god of conflict resolution. You are being encouraged to walk away from a current conflict. So these two cards sound polar opposites. You're being asked to take a leading role and to walk away. So I think what it means is, before you walk away, take the leading role, shift the energy or shift the outcome if it's not suiting your higher needs or your integrity values in particular. Or if you feel that there is some obligation that you owe to someone else but it's not sitting right, it feels unbalanced or unequal or unfair, then it's time to stand up in an appropriate manner, not, creating a war or a fight, but to enable yourself truth, if you like, truth to be heard and to be realized. And then it's saying to not create any further conflict, and if it needs be, to walk in a new direction, which is what this final card is, the god of conflict resolution. We all have times of conflict in our life, and there's no way of avoiding that. It's part of being alive, of being a human, of communication, of having relationships in your life. It's how we deal with conflict that makes the difference, and it's how we let it affect us personally. No one has to suffer undue conflict, and there are ways of dealing with it and finding resolution without creating a war. But definitely standing up for your own integrity values and your own rights, making sure you're connecting with your higher self to find out what those values are and where you feel a situation should be, and then addressing it if needs be with other people, but most definitely yourself, learning to take a strong and firm role in the way the direction could be going, and not fueling conflict in a negative way, but rather solving it with intelligence and integrity, and then moving on if it cannot be solved in those ways. So I think that's your message for number 1. So it's very much about making sure you honour yourself, and that you do things diligently, and you do take action, and that you're not taken advantage of, and that when the time comes, if you have to leave a situation behind, or a person, or a relationship, or a health issue, then it's time to move on and move out of conflict. So there we are. Thank you guys. Number 1, I hope that helps out with any situations you have going on around you. Much love all. Namaste. If you have chosen number 2, you are joining me on this chakra journey with these beautiful golden cards. I love this deck. It is one of my all-time favourites. It deals with so many different levels of our life, at the physical, emotional, spiritual, relationship, financial, job, anything. It really does handle so many situations beautifully. So if you chose number 2, let's see what the chakra card energies are going to tell you or support you with right now around your thoughts and energies. Action and sound. I'm just moving the camera a little bit to get these cards as clearly as we can into focus. So the 2 chakras here that we're looking at are the base chakra and the throat chakra, the red and the blue colorings. And I think perhaps I can find a couple of crystals to align with them. I've picked those 2 crystals in particular for their geometrical shape. Pyramids are very powerful, and they give off a great deal of extra energy within a reading as well. They structure the energy around them. They are solid at the base, and they have a pinnacle at the top, allowing information and energy to be powerfully aligned through the points on the pyramid. So the first card is action. It talks about movement, perseverance, discipline, and motivation. So for any of you, whatever your question might have been, it's suggesting to you to take some action on a certain subject, whether you're questioning something about your health or relationships or your finances or a career. It's sort of saying get up and do something, like fire up that passion, fire up the dreams, fire up the desire for manifestation. Get the physical body involved in it as well. So really activate, just as she is doing, this beautiful dance, the elegant aspect of our human body when it's in movement and dance and striking out power and pose. This is about perseverance as well. So if any of you have found you've come into a situation where there's a glitch or things have slowed down, don't give up and put some power and passion into it. It also tells you, you know, she's in the dark there. She can't necessarily see everything, but she's not afraid to get up and dance, to take action, to create movement. So it's a very similar perspective. If you can't see the whole path ahead on an object or a desire or a passion or a dream, don't be afraid to start it. We often don't have clear vision of an outcome. But until we take the first steps to creating, to transpiring something to move into action, it doesn't happen. So by taking action, we are enabling progress forward. We are enabling a potential outcome. And then once you have started, if you don't like the outcome 100%, you've still got the ability to create more movement to change it. Nothing is static. Everything constantly changes and moves. And so Know too that if you are in a place where you feel you may have made the wrong decision or the wrong choice about something, you don't have to stick with it. You have the freedom to choose to move beyond. It's up to you how you create movement and cycles of life in your life. When your actions stem from a sense of inner knowing, just as that dancer does, it's like she's moving to the pulse of an inner rhythm, even though she can't see clearly. Know that our steps will always be guided and true, so you don't need to wait for things to happen. You start dancing and the music will rise to meet you, and therein is the next step of the journey forward. So if we come to the second card, number 33, oh wow, there's some nice coincidences. Now I didn't pick that up originally, but there's the number 3 on the left and then 33 on the right. So you now have 3 number 3s. So the number 3 could be really relevant, or you could add that up to get a 9, which could also be relevant for you. And 9s are about endings, so ending a stagnant cycle perhaps, or ending a cycle where there has been something stuck. But we come to this card sound, and we see this woman playing on a cello, I think it is. It's music, silence, rhythm and vibration. So we're still talking very much about music, vibration and movement. So the two of them are kind of coming together at different chakra ends of the body. Some of you may actually have blockages in the base chakra and in the throat chakra. If this is the case, you may be lacking the ability to communicate clearly your desires, your passions and your dreams. Now when we have blockages, especially at the bottom and the top, it ends together, our energy just recycles through our body and it has no way of getting out to escape, to create. And we become blocked and we become sluggish and we can sometimes become ill and diseased as well. So this could be very clearly about opening up that throat chakra and allowing, the voice some freedom. Have some of you been stifled from saying what it is you want to say? And it doesn't just have to be verbally, it can be in a written form. This could be very much for some of you who are involved in the arts. If you have a job or career or passion that is to do with writing, artwork, or creative movement, or dance, or theatre, or acting. Some of you may have found things were blocked and stagnant. So this could be about freeing up these particular chakra areas of your body as well. Know too that the first card on the left, the red chakra, holds our ability for grounding, for the home, for finances, for career, for passion, for feeling the home environment being safe and secure, for feeling finances freely flowing into our life as well. So for some of you this could be taking action around your career or your homes. And for some of you it may mean that you need to speak up around these areas of your life as well. When we come back to the card on the right, the sound, all of life is made up of vibrational frequencies, and sound is basically that as well. And even if that sound is silence, as one of the purest and most potent healing forces on the planet, sound has the capacity to capture the essence of an individual, to unify the energy of an entire group, to dissolve an illness, to penetrate surfaces, and to travel around the globe and beyond. It's actually, this card is an invitation to consciously enter life's rich symphony of sound. Take time to listen with all of your senses and be willing to hear what the world is communicating to you, even in silence, such as meditation or being on your own. It's time to honour the intuitive sounds of your own being and listen to them. It's also a time to encourage the expression of sound through singing and music, drumming and chanting, and also just being in absolute quiet somewhere. just remember, like whenever we speak or make a sound, any noise, we're emitting that vibrational energetic force into the universe. So it can be a time to be very, thoughtful of the sounds that you put out, because that's the frequency or energy that you vibrate back to yourself as well. So it's all about, what do you choose to surround yourself with on a daily basis? Are they sounds of healing, harmony, high vision, inspiration? Or are you putting out sounds of discord, imbalance and uncertainty? So just remember that as well, that sound is an energetic doorway to the universe, and we can tune into it at so many different levels, and it can be very healing and very nurturing, and it is also the way for communication at so many levels. So there are some wonderful messages there for you guys in this number 2 reading with all your number 3s. So I hope you've found that insightful and helpful. Come back to it as many times as you like, so that you can enjoy the energy of action and sound, and really activate the base chakra and the throat chakra. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Much love. Namaste. And if you have found yourself here, guys, you have selected number 3. And we are using these energy oracle cards. They are very similar to a tarot deck. So we will just shuffle for you and see what messages are coming your way if you chose number 3. One more shuffle. Anxiety, the thinking woman, and yin yang. Some of you could be feeling anxiety around issues in your life. So whether it be financial or job related, or your health, or career, as I said, relationships, anything really. Anxiety generally comes about when we are focusing on ourselves to the detriment of all else, and we allow the feelings or that mind talk of self-doubt, of evasiveness, of destruction, of non-success, of worry, of fear, of being afraid to succeed, or afraid that you will fail. When we're in anxiety or depression, we are limited, we're tied up, we can't see beyond that negative door standing in front of us. But inevitably it's up to us to free ourselves from anxiety. So we can get help, we can seek help with counselling, we can seek help with that thinking woman. She could very much be a psychological counsellor, or a support person, or a mentor, and they can be very beneficial to us. However, inevitably it comes back to us to re-establish a positive energy flow in our bodies, and that's what the yin yang is suggesting. When we're in a state of positive flow or harmonic balance, such as yin yang, everything is more moderated. We'll still feel anxiety or depression or worry or stress or tension, but we can balance it. We can put it back into its appropriate sized box. We can put it away. It doesn't have to be out all day or all night. It's about bringing that balance and harmony back into our life, and we can do that in many different ways, and I'm sure most of you know them. We can meditate. We can take on a healthier diet. We can spend time analysing a situation and making logical sense of it. So writing down practical ways of moving out of an anxious situation. We can seek help. We can do healing. We can spend time with counsellors or medical practitioners, or we can take supplements to help, such as vitamins or minerals. We can take medication as well. None of those options are necessarily wrong or right at any given time. Some may be joined together or fused together to make an overall mix that works, and everyone is different, and each and every one of us has a different need and a different way to mix up the solutions at any given time. But know that if you're suffering from a great deal of anxiety over a situation, then sometimes looking at it from a different angle or a different perspective or viewpoint, or sometimes getting someone else's perspective or insight or ideas, can be really helpful in seeing a way out. It's about not over-focusing. It's about not over-stressing. The more we stress, the more pressure we put on our bodies, and the more help we actually need in getting out of that pit. Making sure you have enough sleep, and that you are eating the right foods, and that you are nurturing your body and mind and nerves is really, really important at a time when anxiety is high. So those are some points around how to deal with anxiety itself, if that's what's kind of, popping up at the moment. The thinking woman could well be yourself, applying logic to resolving anxious moments in time or anxious situations or decisions. And if it is you, then you will be learning to use a more intellectual perspective on an outcome rather than just emotions, which is what anxiety is. So it means that you take a step back, you broaden your horizon and your aspect and your view, and you start reasoning with intellect, which is a very powerful tool, and that can usually give you more insight into how to get to a more positive place, or to drop off the anxiety, or to find a positive solution. If it's not yourself, this thinking woman could be someone who comes into the situation that may relieve some of your anxiety. So for instance, some of you may have been anxious about perhaps not having a job or looking for a job, and this thinking woman could possibly be a new employer. Some of you might be in a situation at your current job where there's some tension going on, and you might have been blamed for something, or you feel you're not being treated fairly. It could even be in regards to wages or other workmates. The thinking woman could well be someone who you see who could be an HR, human resources person, resolution manager that might be helpful. The thinking woman could be someone like a bank manager or a loans manager or an accountant or a teacher or a mentor. So this person could come into your life to help resolve a specific issue that has been creating a block or tension or anxiety or a lack of the ability to see forward. We've talked briefly about the yin-yang card, and knowing that when we are in a state of balance or harmony, then so much more is achievable, and answers seem to pop up with much more clarity and ease. Now the yin-yang card could also reference the fact that for some of you, you could have been moving from a state or tension of anxiety or uncertainty or an inability to solve something into a place of more balance and harmony. So the yin-yang energy could be coming for you as time progresses on, and you might find that you feel like a relief, like a harmony coming back into situations around you that haven't been balanced. So there we are, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me, and I trust that you have found some helpful insights into your selective you choose reading. Take care, everyone. Much love, happiness, insight and balance. Namaste.